Back live with you tonight on In Focus, and thanks for staying on. The South African National Taxi Council has announced that a stairway in the Western Cape will continue until at least Wednesday. This after talks between Santaco and the city of Cape Town were suspended this evening. Taxi operators embarked on a stairway on Thursday over the impounding of cars, leaving thousands of commuters stranded. Santaco has encouraged operators not to interfere with other modes of transport or take part in any criminal activities. We're joined now by Santaco's Western Cape First Deputy Chairperson, Enge, who is joining us on the line. Nceba, good to have you, and thank you very much for your time. A statement from the Western Cape government says that on Friday there was an interim solution that was proposed on the impoundments, while a more concrete solution will be devised around the new legislation that is in place. And you had then left to go and canvass that proposal with your members. Talk to us about what that proposal was and how did your members respond to it.
Good evening to you, sir, and viewers at home. Indeed, we met and the proposals were tabled. The proposals that were tabled were, one, that your van will no longer be impounded for a cracked, say, a light when the number plate is not fixed properly, when your driver is not wearing a safety belt, and so on and so on. They said that there are two categories. That is a minor offenses category, and there is a serious offense category, whereby they say if the driver is driving on a yellow line, the van will be impounded. If the driver is driving drunk, your vehicle will be impounded, and so on. And that is where we don't get one another, because when the fines are written, the offense there is contrary to conditions of operating license. The conditions of operating license are enshrined in our operating license at the back. It's 36 of those conditions. It means, therefore, you can still be impounded for whatever that has been done by the driver, or whatever that they see as a default in your vehicle, as long as your fine will just say conditions. In today's meeting, we were saying that we need moratorium of at least 7 days. Then we go on negotiations and clear out certain conditions or that we need to remove from the operating license. And that is where we don't see each other. Yeah. Because they don't want to give the 7 days moratorium on impoundments. Yeah. And we don't want the driver to go back to work tomorrow due to that. So
according to Santaco, do you want all 36 of those conditions of the operating license scrapped?
Not at all. Not at all. But at least we're saying let us be given a term on impoundment of 7 days. Then scrap certain conditions which are not, in fact, which we view as not relevant for or not to qualify your vehicle to be impounded. Let us make an example, sir. If the driver has been caught drunk in your car, I mean in a private car, what happens? The owner of that car is arrested, and the car is not taken anywhere, except being taken maybe to the police station so that somebody else can come and collect the car. But why is that not applicable in our case? Because we're saying that the driver can be arrested, because we don't condone that. Not at all. We don't think that the driver must drive the vehicle whilst he is under the influence. So if the driver is caught being drunk, he must be arrested. But why do we impound my van? I'm sitting at home. That guy who's assisting me driving my van is the one who transgressed. He's old enough. He knows the condition and the regulations of the road. Why?
So the question then can be asked that when these regulations were brought on and these conditions were brought on, the taxi industry would have been aware of them, and they've been in place now for a while. Why are you raising these objections now and were not raised earlier?
I like your question. We were not. Somebody just asked me that question offline now. We were not consulted. The city of Cape Town is not going the way other provinces are doing things. And I don't know why. What is so special about the city of Cape Town? What is so unique about this province? We don't know.
So Nceba says these regulations, I see in a tweet here, were put in place purely to eradicate and completely eliminate taxis on the roads in the Western Cape. Do you believe that that would have been the case?
100%. That is how we view this. Because you'll find out that, as I said earlier, that these regulations are only applicable to the taxi industry, not in any other mode of transport. Why? We've got competitors here, the buses, but you'll never see the buses being impounded. Why? They are overloading. They are not impounded. They've got defaults. They are not impounded. Defects, I mean. But why? Why us as a taxi industry?
And so now, talk to me about why the talks were suspended this evening.
This evening, when we were in the caucus, we heard that there's commotion on the ground. Then we went there. When we were there, there were police officers. Let me say just law enforcement, because there was police subs and traffic cops all over the show. They were searching one of the vans that had security personnel. And that is the security of one of the guys.
And what was the altercation between the law enforcement and that van?
They were searching the van all over, like trying to harass, and you could see how many vans were there.
Yeah.
As if somebody has died.
Yeah.
And you could see that, no, we are not welcome here.
So they were searching. The commotion was around the law enforcement agencies searching the security car of one of your members.
Exactly.
Right. And what was the reason? Was there something contained in that vehicle that was illegal?
Nothing. But there was more than 20 vans that were there of law enforcement.
Yeah.
We've got the videos, we've got everything.
Yeah. And you're saying then that collapsed the talks for today?
Yes.
Yeah. And now, why are you, as you are busy with this process of talks, continuing with the stairway?
We don't want our vans to be impounded. That is the reason why we went on stairway. It's the impoundment. And they don't want to budge in that, because they don't want to go to those conditions at all. Yes, I said we asked for a moratorium of at least 7 days. Then we sit down and iron out certain conditions. The minister has a right to say, I'm giving that moratorium on impoundment for 7 days. Yeah. Then we'll go to work tomorrow. Yeah. So, and that's what we were asking. We were asking, I think, more than an hour there.
Yeah. Nat, I want to understand this, because when we spoke to the MMC for public safety or mobility, they are saying what they are putting in place are national laws, National Land Transport Act laws. Now, we know that on Friday, the Minister of Transport intervened in this particular matter. What was her intervention? Is she able to then intervene and give you that moratorium on impoundments? Because it seems it's a national land traffic act that is being implemented here, if that is true.
But strange enough, those conditions, you only get them in Western Cape from the whole of South Africa. Why? Because you don't get these impoundments in other provinces. And we are not saying that the vans should not be impounded. That's not what you are saying. serious, the conditions and so on. That's not what we are saying. But not the way in which they are implementing this in the Western Cape.
Yeah. What was the minister's suggestion then? What was her intervention here to try and end this?
The national minister said that she also agrees with us that at least in 14 days' time, he will review these conditions. But then the problem is that the national minister does not have that power over the city of Cape Town to do so. It will then take some time. And if that happens, we don't have a problem. That's what we want to see happening. But therefore, we are saying we are dying now. And therefore, there should be moratorium for the period in which these are being reviewed. We don't have a problem of going back to work if we can be given just a moratorium on impoundment. Because the impound is, I'm repeating myself, and the fund will say, contrary to conditions of operating methods, meaning that your van can be impounded at any given time.
Yeah. So it's that line. If they were to take out a line that says your vehicle can be impounded for anything contrary to the conditions of the operating license, you'd be fine.
If that will be fine.
And
that will be fine.
Let's talk then about the other issue. That for me is a little bit of a confounding issue. An interdict was issued today by the courts saying that there should not be intimidation or harassing or threatening or interfering with bus drivers and employees and passengers and so on of Golden Arrows by Santaco. And you're saying you're welcoming that. Why would you welcome that if you have not been involved in any of those acts?
No, I don't know who said we welcome that, but we said we have issued, in fact, let me say, we have issued a statement and said we are not aware of any member of Santaco who is involved in such. And we distance ourselves. But we have consulted our lawyer, who will go to court, submitted already. But again, we are not involved as Santaco in such incidents of criminal activities. No, we are not.
So when you were taken to court by Golden Arrows alongside the respondents is Santaco there. So what was your response to the prayers of Golden Arrow buses when they're saying we want Santaco to be interdicted from intimidating, harassing and threatening and interfering with our passengers and our employees?
No, we are still saying that we are not aware of any one of us who did that. And our lawyer is communicating that through court. It's just because that has been given to court, and therefore the lawyer should also go to court. That is why the case is in court. But it does not mean that we agree on what they are saying. We are not.
So, in your statement, when you say that we earnestly request our members to uphold the highest standards of professionalism and respect, we emphasize our call to all Santaco members to maintain calm and avoid any form of violence and disruption. How are you going to ensure that particular commitment and promise is upheld?
We are just encouraging our members not to involve themselves in any criminal activities, and that we said on the day in which the decision was taken to embark on a stay away. We encourage them in that meeting. It's just encouraging our members not to.
Yeah. So you are not, Santaco, going to take any active steps in as far as ensuring that the members of Santaco do not interfere with operators of other modes of transport?
No, because we don't know any member. So why should we take a step if we don't know? Because it's not our members. It's not us as Santaco. So
you're maintaining that these are just pure criminal elements who are destroying the buses?
Exactly.
Yeah. And so far, has there been any attempt or success in arresting those criminal elements who are burning buses?
No, I'm not sure then. I'm not sure about the law enforcement. That question should be referred to them.
But as far as you know, none of your members have been arrested or in any of these acts?
No, none of us, yeah.
All right. So where does this matter sit now in terms of the negotiation? So it's suspended today, the talks. You are continuing with the area until Wednesday. When is your next meeting with the government of the Western?
And it would depend if we get an invitation from them. We are waiting from them. Let me rather say so.
Yeah.
At
this point, there has not been an invitation that has been extended.
Not at the moment.
All right. Nceba, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much for coming on and for that clarity there. That is Nceba, First Deputy Chairperson of Santaco. As you heard there, the stairway continues until Wednesday. So far, no invitation for a follow-up meeting has been extended to them. And today's meeting was suspended because there was commotion outside between law enforcement officials and a security van of one of the members of Santaco.